At our sports news, our correspondent Ira Spitzer is in Berlin to talk to us about today's World Cup match between South Korea and Germany. Hello to you, Ira. Well, the defending champions were seconds away from an embarrassing exit in their last match against Sweden. How do you think they'll fare today against a side that is obviously not to be underestimated and have come to this World Cup quite hungry to prove something?
Well, a lot of excitement here in Germany going into the third match, the final match of the group stage for the defending champions. And as you mentioned there, they were seconds away from basically being eliminated in that match against Sweden, saved by that amazing free kick by Toni Kroos minutes into the injury time. So today, facing South Korea, this is a team that Germany should be able to beat based on the historical precedent here and the rankings of the teams in the world. So if Germany is able to defeat South Korea, they would then book their ticket into the round of 16, which is, of course, what everyone here wants. There's been a renewed interest in the team and their chances, of course, since that dramatic victory over Sweden. But the work is not over. They still need to come out and play a very difficult South Korean team, a team that has speed, a team that plays together. So Germany, as I mentioned, not out of the woods yet. They still need to show some form here against South Korea to really show that they belong in this next round.
And of course, should Germany manage to get past these group stages, they would have broken the hoodoo of former World Cup winners who come in and get knocked out in the groups.
Right, exactly. In 3 out of the past 4 World Cups, we've seen the champions flame out in the next year. So Germany trying to avoid that fate. From what we've seen so far, I think the verdict is still out. Of course, they had that magical finish against Sweden, but besides that, they really haven't looked so far like the team that dominated in the last World Cup. There have been a couple lineup changes going into this match against South Korea. The most significant lineup change, Mesut Ozil, the Arsenal midfielder, will start. Thomas Müller, the midfielder for Bayern München and a erstwhile hero in past World Cups, he will actually start the game on the bench. So that is an interesting substitution from the Germany coach. But at this point, I think it really remains to be seen whether Germany can avoid the curse that has befallen some of those previous World Cup champions. But at least they're in a good position, if not the perfect position, to try and advance to this next round.
I was going to ask you about that Thomas Müller decision, of course, to bench him. What have the fans had to say around the coach's selections for this game?
Well, it's been a bit controversial, but Germany has changed its lineups in each of the games. So I think the fans here have a lot of confidence in their manager, Joachim Löw, to make the right decisions. He certainly has a great track record. So at this point, I would say that, and also Mesut Ozil, of course, is a world-class player. So I don't think there's too many German fans who can be that disappointed about not having him in there. But the fact that Ozil is starting does mean that Thomas Müller, who really is almost a national hero because of his performance in previous World Cups, will start the game on the bench. So if South Korea does score a goal, if South Korea does threaten Germany, we could, for one, see Müller come off the bench, and we also could see some questioning from fans and the media of that decision not to start Müller. Another important substitution for Germany, Jerome Boateng, the defender, will also not start. He received 2 yellow cards in the last game, so he is ineligible to play. So that is a bit of a question mark on the back line for the defending champions.
And before I let you go, Joachim Löw will oversee his 17th World Cup game as head coach. Quite a feat. He's among, I think, only the top 10 coaches to do that. Do you think he's capable of seeing Germany not just past this round, but all the way to the final?
Well, I think it's certainly possible. I don't think not too many people at this point are predicting Germany to win the World Cup, and I think the main reason for that is they've looked fairly pedestrian in the first couple matches, and even stretching back into the friendlies that they played going into the tournament. We haven't really seen that explosive team in years past. So at this point, it would be a bit of a stretch to predict them actually repeating as champions. But that being said, when you look at the lineup, this is a team up and down the roster with a tremendous amount of talent. It's also a team that has done it before. So I think if we see a good match today, obviously, from the German team, and then moving out into the knockout stage, perhaps Germany starting to get stronger and stronger, they certainly could easily be one of the favorites here. And I think one thing to consider is with the pressure that they faced in the last match, really tremendous pressure from the German media as well as the fans who were disgusted with their performance against Mexico. With all that pressure, Toni Kroos and the rest of the team were able to deliver that dramatic victory. So I wouldn't underestimate the psychological power of that comeback, and perhaps they could ride that momentum to make a deep run in this World Cup.
Ira, that's where we'll leave it. Thank you so much. That is, of course, Ira Spitzer, our correspondent, talking to us about the defending champs going into that game against South Korea to see if they can make it past these group stages and into the final 16 of the World Cup Russia 2018.